to the CWT Finance Show. My name is Caleb Tanner. I am a investment blogger. I write on the blog financebycwt.com. And there is a collection of stocks that I call CWT Stocks. And what those are the stocks that basically, as the blog got created and as it started going, they're the blogs that I've really talked about the most, announced that I was buying the most. Because on my blog, I don't tell people what they should or should not buy. I'm not going to tell somebody to invest into a stock in particular. But what I do is say that, I tell people what I am buying. So those are what I call CWT stocks. It's the stocks that I've always announced that I was personally buying into and, over a long period of time. And ones that I've written tons of articles on. I have that problem where once I find a stock that I really like, I write about it pretty constantly on there. And those are what I call CWT stocks. Now, last year is pretty much the first full year of my blog. And there was a ton of stocks that I announced that I was buying. And, a lot of them more often than others. One of them being SoFi. Now, even if you look on this YouTube channel, you'll see that I've made an absolutely insane amount of videos on SoFi. I just absolutely love the stock. It's one that, I wrote so many blog posts on it because I thought it was absolutely crazy how the stock was being valued. Because, the stock was here, and they would release so much positive news, and the stock would go, and then it'd go back here. And then so much positive news, and it'd go up and go back here. And it was just, and there was like positive quarterly report after quarterly report after quarterly report after quarterly report. And I couldn't believe it. The stock just wouldn't move. And I saw the market being so insane that I just started buying as much as I possibly could. And I just wouldn't stop buying the stock. That is, right now, if you don't count ETFs, retirement accounts, or any of that, SoFi is my single biggest position. And most of that being from last year. And, that was a stock that I kept buying. Meta is another CWT stock. And what happened with that was, at the very beginning of last year, they had a terrible quarterly report and the stock crashed. And it crashed to I think it was around $220 a share or something like that. And I started buying it. And then it went down more. And I kept buying. And then it went down more. And I kept buying. And then suddenly, it goes all the way down to $90 a share. Now keep in mind, I started buying it at $220. And I was looking at it, and I still... The reason I kept buying it was, sure, they had a bad quarter, but it made sense. We could see how I had a bad quarter. Apple had changed their privacy settings. But they had already started working on fixing that. And they were doing a good job. So I looked at it, and I'm like, the stock is crashing over a temporary problem that will actually have no bearing on the stock, in the next 2, 3, 5 years. And it was just crazy to me. I mean, when I looked at $9 a share, there was a part of me that was, beginning to, wonder maybe the market knows something I don't. But I kept buying it. And now that stock is up, at the same point. And, SoFi, year to date is up, I'm pretty sure close to 100%. Meta year to date is up, I believe around 150% last time I looked. And these stocks, are killing it now. Another one is Blackrock. Blackrock I count as the CWT stock. And that one has not had the absolutely insane growth that you can see out of a SoFi and Meta. But it's also one of my absolute favorite stocks that I've been buying as much of as I possibly could. Because, one, they're the largest asset manager in the world, and they're continuing to grow the amount of inflows that they have. And they have such a stronghold over asset management. If you have a 401k, even if another company's managing it, most of the funds are going to be Blackrock funds. And, when I look at that, they have such a strong footing into, retirement savings, asset management, that, I really don't see any way they don't keep being number one. And I don't see any way they don't keep growing. They are up this year, but not, 100% or anything like that, a small amount. But it's a good dividend stock. It's one that, is continuing to pay the shareholders. I still think it's at a really good valuation. And I think it'll continue to give, good growth over, my entire life, really. So, that's another stock that I count as a CWT stock that is doing really well. There are obviously some stocks, I bought last year that are not doing that well. Like Warner Brothers Discovery, I wouldn't say it's doing bad, but it really just hasn't moved. Like I haven't made anything on that stock, but I haven't really lost anything either. So, that's one that, hasn't really panned out the way I want, but I'll probably keep buying. And Funko is one that just drastically went terrible for me. Like, it was funny. I like during last year, it was the only stock that was actually going up. I was up an insane amount on my Funko stock, though now it's down like 50%. But that's one that didn't work out as well. Although I probably wouldn't buy more shares of that. But yeah, it's been a really good year for what I call the CWT stocks. Most of them are up an insane amount of percentages. Some are not up as much, and some are down. But overall, it's been a really good year for those stocks. Read my blog, financemycwt.com. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Thanks for watching this video. Thank you.